Hello, happy Wednesday. I am Reverend Gregory Toole bringing you this week's Wednesday inspiration. Today, the topic is you have to play to win. And I'm going to use a few tennis metaphors today. So if you're not into sports metaphors, then I apologize in advance. I do play a lot of tennis and so many metaphors for life. So there's this one phrase that I use sometimes that you can't win the game totally in your head, right? So we can have this idea that like, oh, I am better than that person at this game. Like I can play better. My skills are better, but we still have to win the game on the court. We have to get on the court and play the game out. We have to play the whole thing out. We have to go through the whole thing. Another phrase in sports in general where if a team isn't like fully engaged in what they're doing, they'll say they're phoning it in. They're phoning in the game. In other words, they're not really embodied, they're not really present, they're not really in it. They're just like, okay, they had a plan, and then it's just like, haphazardly or not wholeheartedly putting themselves into it. And I think this is really a metaphor for life that we can win a lot of the game. We can win and set ourselves up for winning. With our thinking and with our mental prep and spiritual prep, right? We get centered, we get grounded, we get our negative thinking out of the way, we get ourselves aligned with our self-esteem, and that we deserve good in our lives, and that we are worthy, and that we are powerful, and we are creative, and we get ourselves aligned with that greater truth of who we are, and we get all that stuff out of the way about being unworthy and ideas of lack and limitation. We get all of that out of the way. Yes, so a lot of it is won before we ever even start to play the game, before we ever even get onto the court. And yet we still have to play it out. We still have to now, with that knowledge, with that awareness, with that affirmative approach to life, we have to put ourselves in life. It's like things that we are afraid of. Sometimes we'll try to resolve it all just in the mind. We don't actually go play. We don't actually go engage, right? And in my experience, hardly ever, if ever, have I ever overcome a fear just by resolving it all in mind. A lot of it can be resolved in mind because a lot of it is about our thinking and the way that we're looking at life, and yet we still have to go do the thing that we're afraid of in order to fully overcome that fear. Once we get ourselves mentally prepared, then we go do that thing. And then that's the ultimate. And sometimes when we do that thing, that really dissipates the fear because we go, oh, that was all. It was like the time I went down a hiking trail, that really looked intimidating to me. Every time I looked at it, I didn't even want to go down that trail. And until I said, I am overcoming that. I want to go on that trail. I saw many other people go on that trail. And so when I actually did the trail, I said, "Oh my goodness, that wasn't even hard." All that the difficulty was what was built up in my mind and the ideas I made up about that trail. So the invitation today is to, yes, do our mental prep, right? Do your mental preparation, do your spiritual preparation of getting yourself aligned within yourself for success, but then get out there and play the game. Get out there and try that thing. Get out there and win by being in the game. One final metaphor is where people won't even try. Like on the tennis court, someone will not even make an effort to get a ball that's coming their way. And I always say, well, oh, how come you didn't try for that? And they say, oh, I never could have gotten that. And to me, that's losing the game in our heads. And I always say, don't lose in your head. At least try and find out if you could have succeeded at that. And then if somehow you fall short, okay. But if we just decide in our minds before we even try, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that, then we've lost the game in our heads as opposed to let me get myself out there and see what might be possible, see what I could do. So the invitation today is to recognize how powerful you are, how creative you are, how deserving and worthy you are of the greatest life ever, and to get in the game. Don't figure it out in your head first and decide what you can have and what you can't have. Be an explorer, right? Get in the game and see what might be possible for you today, which might be way more than what was possible for you yesterday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and blessings.